Adam. I made you some cookies. One before the record and more after.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. Are these raisins?
Sure. Why not?
I'm Adam, and we're the Maladjusted Misfits.
Did you just throw my cookie? Those were chocolate chips.
Oh, sorry.
And I'm Joe, and this is the one where we talk about friends. Adam, don't eat off the floor.
Dog hair.
Welcome, Misfits! And hello to any new Friends fans that have stumbled across our podcast.
Every week, we rewatch the next episode in sequential order.
Not autobiographically.
That's correct. That would be hard to do. I don't remember which episodes we saw first.
Yeah, I don't either. But, high fidelity.
Yeah.
What's the episode we're doing this week?
All right, we're doing the one where Dr. Ramoray dies.
Dr. Ramoray dies.
Yes.
What's our IMDb plot?
Well, Joey's soap opera character is killed off after he brags in an interview that he writes his own lines. Chandler is unnerved by Eddie's strange behavior, while Ross and Rachel compare their past lovers, as do Richard and Monica.
Our episode director is Michael Lembeck.
Yes.
You might have heard of him before.
ML.
We mentioned him previously. We also talked about he was an actor prior to directing. He was on the OG One Day at a Time TV show.
Yes.
He also starred in a movie called Gorp.
Gorp.
In 1980.
Oh.
The plot is a slapstick comedy about the wacky antics of a group of waiters at a Jewish summer camp in upstate New York.
Oh.
And he also had a birthday last week on 6/25. So happy belated B-Day.
Happy belated birthday, Michael Lembeck.
He's 76.
Gorp.
I know. I just thought that was really funny. What a title. Like,
Yeah.
It must mean something.
Well, it means nothing to me.
Our episode writer was Michael Borkow.
Oh.
Actually, we had him as a writer before. Mm-hmm. And if you look it up, he actually had a teleplay credit.
Right, like one of the regulars was credited with the story by.
Yep.
Like Alex Young or somebody.
But he got his first writing gig for a short-lived sitcom in 1992, starring Taya Leone.
Ooh.
The plot is, and I love this word, nebbish.
Nebbish.
A nebbishy accounts executive who inexplicably lands a gorgeous, fantastically hip woman perpetually followed around by a string of brilliant ex-lovers. That's a hard thing to say. That whole sentence is struggled. But I looked up nebbishy.
Right.
It's typically a man who is regarded as pitiful, ineffectual, timid, or submissive.
Nice.
So basically, this, nothing guy who got a really great girl to go out with him.
Right.
Like Aurora.
Chandler.
All right. What was our original air date?
All right. It was March 21st, 1996.
Whoa.
That week, the number one movie was The Birdcage.
The Birdcage.
Starring
I like that movie.
Robin Williams, Nathan Lane, Gene Hackman, and David the Science Guy, Hank Azaria.
He says one of my favorite lines.
Okay, I'm going to do it. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
We haven't even conferred this. I know what it is for sure. I cannot wear shoes. They make me fall down.
That's the one.
And also in the top 10, one of my all-time favorites, Fargo.
Very good movie. Excellent movie. Excellent TV show.
Yes.
Very good. All right. Are you ready for some trivia?
I am ready for some trivia.
Right, I got some good trivia this week.
Okay.
All right. This is the first time you notice Matthew Perry's short finger.
Right. I distinctly remember noticing it
Right.
when he puts his hand on Eddie's shoulder, being like, is something wrong with his finger?
Yes. When Chandler puts his hand on Eddie's arm, you can clearly see part of Matthew Perry's middle finger is missing. He lost it when it was accidentally shut in a door when he was just 3 years old.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's his favorite part. The nail.
The scene where Joey goes into Central Perk excitedly to tell Phoebe about his interview with the soap opera magazine
Yes.
had to be shot multiple times.
Why?
The first time, Matt LeBlanc wasn't looking where he was going and fell.
Oh.
The second time, Matt LeBlanc was intent on not tripping and looked down.
He looked down too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
Too much.
Too much.
The third time, he got to the area where he sat, but knocked the chair over.
Wow.
And then the fourth time, Matthew Perry got into the action, and when Matt LeBlanc got to the chair, he ran up behind him and sat down instead. So then they were laughing too hard they couldn't get through it. And if you Google it, there's the cut scene, so you can see the deleted bloopers. That's
the deleted
funny.
bloopers of this episode. Yeah. Huh, that's funny. I remember thinking he ran in really fast.
Yeah.
He runs in so fast. It's like, how does he know Phoebe's even in there? He doesn't even look around.
Because somebody's always in the car. When Dr. Drake Ramoray falls down the elevator shaft, somebody did some math. It wasn't me.
Okay.
His 6-second fall
Right.
means he fell approximately 580 feet before hitting the bottom. That means that that's a 50-story hospital.
Right. Nice. I remember thinking it was really long.
Yeah, I know. You're like,
I assumed he was already at the bottom, and then they're like, thud.
Right, because he's like, maybe not. And boom, now he is. The capital of Cambodia is pronounced Phnom Penh.
Phnom Penh.
Yes.
Yes.
A name that can be misheard or mispronounced as Sean Penn.
Right.
Which is why it's funny.
Interesting.
And then Tom Selleck, remember Ross asks him, were you in Nam?
Yeah.
So Tom Selleck served in the 160th Infantry of the California Army National Guard during the Vietnam era.
Oh.
However, he was never deployed to Vietnam. But he played Magnum P.I., who was a Navy SEAL during the Vietnam War.
Nice.
Yeah, so he was active duty, but he never was deployed to Vietnam. So,
well, good for him.
all right. So, what were your episode reactions?
6 partner scorecards. Meh. Very 90s trope.
Yeah.
It's like, as soon as they did it, I was like, this seems very 90s. But Joey bragging about nothing and losing a job over is kind of a real lesson, and it's so funny. And Eddie and Chandler, I mean, they just steal the show.
Yeah.
Adam Goldberg has the same kind of crazy energy that Giovanni Ribisi has when he's playing Frank Jr.
Yep.
And I just like those kind of unpredictable characters that you never know what they're going to do or say.
Yeah. This episode's up there for me. I've said before that the Eddie episodes are some of my favorite. He's so funny. It's fun to see Chandler super uncomfortable and reacting to this craziness. And this should teach him to just offer up a spare room to anyone he meets in the supermarket. This should be a lesson to him.
Right. A lot of lessons learned.
I think the couple argument is fun, even though the condom thing bothers me.
Yes, we'll get there.
And Joey's accident on Days of Our Lives is the catalyst to move him back in with Chandler, so it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, and again, they kind of use it as an excuse, and he would have moved back regardless, I think.
There would have been something.
They would have been like, I have to fucking get Eddie out of here.
Yeah, so you have to move. All right, there was so many favorite lines in this episode.
Yes.
I mean, we were like quoting so much, and we say so many of these lines on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So we had so many, and I had to narrow it down. So I went with, no, that's a goldfish cracker.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What was one of yours?
One of mine was, again,
another Chandler one.
Well, yeah, I'm doing another Chandler one, but like Phoebe says something in this episode that I did not pick for my favorite line, but I say all the time.
Right.
Which is that, oh, I see what you did there.
You do say that all the time.
But I went with Chandler because sometimes, Phoebe, after you sleep with someone, you have to kill a fish.
The whole fish thing.
The whole fish thing is so funny.
It's so funny. Tilly's presence and coming over, the whole moment is funny. So, favorite moment. I have to go with when Eddie goes, "This is unbelievable."
He smacks himself in the forehead.
It's amazingly perfectly acted by both Matthew and Adam. It's just the right amount of crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder what direction they gave him.
Right.
You know, like what?
Well, I imagine he came in and read and
Right.
was already kooky.
Right.
So they're like, just keep that up. And again, I'm going with Eddie and Chandler too. But I love when Eddie rounds on him and accuses him immediately of having sex with Tilly.
Right. You had sex with her.
Because that's the moment where Eddie shifts from being, he's kind of, you know,
quirky.
Yeah, he's just this guy that stays in his room. And, we talked and he scared me a little bit. And now I'm frightened of him constantly.
All right. Favorite outfit. There was some okay outfits. I had one picked at the beginning, but I went with Rachel's red dress at the end when she's watching Joey's elevator shaft scene and then goes over to Joey's apartment. So it's red with stripes in it. I like stripes. She looks super cute in it.
Yeah. I actually was going to pick that. And then you picked it. We kind of flipped back and forth on the notes. Nobody completing 100% of theirs at a sitting. But I like that dress. I liked Phoebe's Daisy outfit at the beginning is the one I think you were talking about. But I'm going to have to go with ironic win this week. Yeah. And it's a tie again.
A tie.
Ross and Richard in their girlfriends' bathrobes. So fun to look at the pair of them.
Yeah. Yep. Too funny. All right. Themes we explored this episode. Theme 1. What is the magic number? And should you share yours?
Should you share yours? Mine's very low, like Richard's.
Ditto, my man. Ditto.
Theme 2. After you sleep with someone, do you have to kill a fish?
Maybe.
I have every time I've slept with someone.
Theme 3. Where do you keep your condoms?
And theme 4. Should you invest in a mustache comb?
Just like when he asks him how he keeps his mustache so neat. It's just so funny. All right. We're going to take a break before we break down the episode.
Okay. All right, I got a funny one. All right. So my last girlfriend, Tilly, okay? We're eating breakfast, right? And I make all these pancakes. There's like 50 pancakes, right? And all of a sudden she turns to me, all right? And she says, Eddie. And I say, yes. And she says, Eddie, I don't want to see you anymore. And it was like she had reached into my chest, ripped my heart out, and smeared it all over my life, And now there's like this incredible abyss, and I'm falling, and I keep falling, and I don't think I'm ever going to stop. That wasn't such a funny story, was it? All right. The cold open.
Yes.
Monica, or I didn't say we're back. We're back for the cold open. Monica and Rachel's. Monica, Rachel, Phoebe, Chandler, and Joey.
And we start off the scene with a cut scene.
Yes.
Right away from the DVD.
Yes.
So Joey's character is arguing on Days of Our Lives with Amber.
Mm-hmm.
And Phoebe is asking Rachel who everyone is and why they're upset.
Right.
And Rachel's explaining that Amber is upset because she's cut out of the will.
Right.
And Phoebe goes on this soapbox and says, doesn't she know that she can't define herself by money? It's all about values and morals and your ability to give and receive love. And Rach goes, no.
No, she does not know that.
That was a really cute one.
Yeah. So the scene continues, and the group is watching Dr. Drake Ramoray on Days of Our Lives. And Ross rushes in, apologizing for being late and asking what has happened. But Monica tells him, just keep watching. They're almost to the end. So on Days of Our Lives, the chick named Amber wants Drake. I want Drake. But he explains he knows that, but it can never happen because he's her half-brother.
I like how they like immediately go, ew, and start touching each other.
And Joey laughs as the other friends are shocked by the revelation because he's sitting there on the couch.
Right.
He's like, yeah. And Rachel asks for spoilers, and Joey explains that Drake gets the medical award for separating the Siamese twins. Conjoined twins, please, Drake. Come on. Then Drake and Amber go to Venezuela to meet their other half-brother, Ramon. And that's where he finds the world's largest emerald. It's really big, but it's cursed. So they're all impressed with these storylines. And they're like, that's great. And Chandler's like, God, that's good TV. Q, I'll be there for you.
All right, so scene 1, Chandler and Eddie's, Chandler and Phoebe. So Chandler hops up and down at the foosball table, begging Phoebe to play with him.
It's been weeks.
So she jumps up and down, and she matches his jumps, but says, no! And it's like you're asking me to watch a horror movie. No! So she says, the game is grotesque. 20 armless guys joined at the waist by a steel bar, forced to play soccer forever. Ugh. Hello, human rights violation. So Chandler reassures her that when the game is over, he breaks out the little plastic women and everyone seems to have a pretty good time. So she encourages him to play with his new roommate. And Chan says he's a party pooper when it comes to foosball.
I don't like a foosball.
So Phoebe says, uh-oh, ooh, are we not getting along with the new boy? And Chan says, no, he's all right. He just spends a lot of time in his room. Adam, are you Chandler's new roommate?
I sit in the room reading by myself. Maybe. I don't know.
So Phoebe points out that maybe it's because he has not taken the time to get to know him. She offers to remedy that. She takes the ball from Chandler and tosses it at Eddie's door. It'll be fun. Eddie opens the door.
What was that?
Phoebe says, it'd be fun if the three of us had some beers and got to know each other. And he says, okay, that sounds all right.
Yeah.
But Phoebe bails because she's late for her green eggs and ham discussion group. Tonight, it's why he would not eat them on a train.
Right. And even Eddie knows, okay, this lady is kooky
crazy. Yeah.
and not intending on doing any of those things.
So she hands her beer to Chan, and he says, that was so lame. And she goes, I know, yeah? And takes off, but tells him to talk to him. So Chandler breaks the awkwardness by asking if he thinks Speed Racer gets a lot of tickets, which cuts to Eddie laughing on the couch, asking who broke up with who. And Chandler says, are you kidding? I broke up with her. She actually thought Phnom Penh was the capital of Cambodia. And Eddie laughs and says, when everybody knows the capital of Cambodia is, and they both say, well, not Phnom Penh.
Not Phnom Penh.
So Eddie opens up and says he got a funny one, and he proceeds to tell Chan that his last girlfriend, Tilly, breaks up with him while they're eating breakfast. He made 50 pancakes, and it's like she reached into his chest, ripped out his heart, and he's falling in this credible abyss, and he doesn't think he's ever going to stop. Crazy cackle. Chandler looks shook, and Eddie says, that wasn't very funny, was it?
Uh-oh. Okay, then we get to Central Perk. Phoebe, Monica, and Richard, Rachel, and Ross. Phoebe is singing. The pair of couples sit on the couch, and the song goes as such. And the crusty old man said, I'll do what I can, and the rest of the rats played maracas.
The crusty old man.
Yes.
That's a visual.
And she's done singing for the night. Applause. Richard confirms with Monica that Phoebe has another job, right? They congratulate Phoebe on a good set, and she says,
I know.
Ross gives Rachel's leg a pat and says they should be going, and Richard uses this opportunity to bail too, because he has patience in the morning. And Monica floats the idea that instead of staying at Richard's, perhaps he could stay at her place. But he says he has no jammies. Monica suggests he won't need any jammies.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
And Ross butts in with, my baby sister, ladies and gentlemen. And she tells Ross to shut up, she's happy. Phoebe thinks this is so nice and announces that she has to make a speech. As an avid movie watcher, should anyone ever feel the need to make a speech, please don't. It rarely works out.
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
But Phoebe can't hear me from the Warner Brothers lot in L.A. 30 years ago, so she continues. She just wants to say, out of all the guys that Monica has been with, and that has been a lot. More than a Googleplex, but less than the numeral concept of Tree 3. But out of all of them, she likes Richard the best. And Richard tells Phoebe that she is very sweet. Then to Monica, he gloats that Phoebe likes him the best. And apparently, there have been a lot. Monica assures him that there haven't been a lot. She's not that girl from Clerks that sucked 37 dicks. Phoebe's crazy. And then Rachel sides to Ross. Phoebe's dead.
I do like the way she says that.
I didn't write the 37 dicks. It's from Clerks.
But you brought it up. All right, so we go to Chandler and Eddie's. Chandler's there, and then Tilly comes over. So there's a knock at the door, and Chandler answers, and she says, "Hi, I'm looking for Eddie Minowick," and is holding a fish tank. Chandler introduces himself and says, "Eddie's not here. Can I take a message or a fish tank?" So Tilly introduces herself. Cutie Tilly is played by Mary Gallagher. And she's been in a lot of stuff. She was on an episode of Mad About You, West Wing, How I Met Your Mother, Grey's Anatomy, and NCIS, and so on.
Yeah, she's very cute.
She is adorable.
I have a little Tilly crush, I think.
So Chandler says, "Oh," and she says, "By that, oh, I gather he told you about me." And he says, "Yes, your name came up in a conversation that terrified me to my very soul." And Tilly agrees that Eddie is kind of intense. So vindicated, Chandler asks if Eddie is a little, and then in walks Eddie.
A little what?
And then Chandler goes, "Bit country." And there's a cut line on the DVD, and then he finishes it with, "or a little bit rock and roll."
Which I'm glad he finished. It always bothered me that he never finished it.
Because that's the, what's that, Donnie and Marie, right?
Yeah,
a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll, yeah. So come on in here, you roomie. So Eddie greets Tilly, and she says she just came by to drop off his tank. And he says, how thoughtful it was of her. Very thoughtful. So Tilly, clearly uncomfortable, says she's gonna go. And they all say goodbye, and Eddie shuts the door and rounds on Chandler, who says, "So, are we getting a fish?"
You had sex with her, didn't you?
Yeah, it was like, she clearly was standing in the doorway.
Right. So we're back to Central Perk. Phoebe and Joey. Phoebe is still there from the last scene that took place here, and Joey runs in, showing off his soap opera digest. It's one of her favorite digests, she says, along with readers and that's the only I'm out.
Yeah. I don't know any other
I'm out of digests. Regular celery. No.
We say that a lot, too.
So Joey starts saying page 42 over and over again. And she's like, okay. And then she reads from the article. New doc on the block. Days of Our Lives, Joey Tribbiani. Cool picture. Ooh, I do look good, he agrees. And flipping through, she goes right for the plot line, questioning, is it true that you write a lot of your own lines? Kind of, he explains. Last week, some character was in an accident, and it was supposed to be, if we don't get this woman to the hospital, she's going to die. But he made it, if we don't get this woman to the hospital, she's not going to live.
Okay, I see what you did there.
And then Phoebe floats the idea that the writers may get their feelings hurt. But Joey never thought about the writers since the scripts just come to his house. Joey theorizes that the article makes him look good, which makes the show look good, which makes the writers look good. So it'd be downright unreasonable for them to get mad. Smash cut to the Days of Our Lives writer's room. And we get the back of a writer typing away, and we get the interior monologue of his thoughts, and he's like, right, this jerkweed.
Jerkweed. That's so old, school. That's so funny.
So the writer in the scene is actually played by Days of Our Lives writer James E. Riley, R.I.P., who wrote, get this, Joe, 729 episodes of Days of Our Lives.
Jesus. 729?
729. I submit that the man had no time to read soap opera digest.
Seriously.
Cut to Joey's apartment. Joey is standing in his doorway with the script messenger, played by the fantastic Brian Posen, who shows up in everything sooner or later, I think.
Like him. He's funny.
Yeah. And Joey just learned that Drake falls down an elevator shaft, and Joey questions the messenger, who is like, I just bring the scripts, man. And Joey suggests they can't kill Drake because he's related to someone on the show. And the messenger asks if he'll sign for the script, but Joey refuses. And the messenger doubts that that'll have any effect on the plot of the show. And then Joey gets sad, and the messenger just leaves kind of saying sorry.
Oh, that escalated quickly.
Yeah.
Right?
It took 2 quick cuts. And he's out of a job.
So we're back at Monica and Rachel's. Monica and Richard and Ross and Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
Monica is estimating the percentage of guys overall to the amount that she's actually bumped uglies with.
Joe!
It's a very small percentage.
Yes, out of the worldwide population, yeah, it's pretty.
So Ross and Rachel head off to her room, and Rach wishes Mon good luck. So Monica asks Richard what his number is, and he says 2. And she says, how is that possible? Have you seen you? So Richard says, well, he was married to his high school sweetheart for 30 years. And then Monica.
2? I can't do 2, so let's pretend you open 200 Wonka bars.
Can't do the percentage of 2. So she tries to get out of it, and he says, just give me a ballpark. And she goes, it's definitely less than a ballpark.
Is it Wrigley Field or a smaller one? I don't really know the size of the parks.
So we cut to Rachel's bedroom, and Rachel is so glad that she's not Monica right now.
Yeah.
And Ross agrees, but then because he doesn't know when to shut up, because that's his thing,
Right.
he asks what her number is.
Right. The fact that she said, I'm so glad I'm not Monica right now. You think he would have been like, I'll just save it.
Yeah.
I'll just put a pin in it for later. No, not Ross.
So he says, you know all 2 people I've been with, Carol.
2? I can't do 2. Sorry.
Carol and Julie, but then later he tells us he slept with the librarian, so technically 3 and 4 if you add Rachel, but never mind. Anyhow, Rachel list is surprisingly smaller than I would expect. No judgment, but it's 5, and she didn't even mention Chip Matthews.
Oh my God. Well, did she have sex with Chip Matthews? Because he went off with Amy Welsh, right?
Yeah, that's true. Anywho, Ross fixates on the weenie from Torini, and Rach asks if he's jealous of Paolo. Duh.
Yeah.
So she assures him that she is so much happier with him and than she was in the relationship with Paolo. It was barely a relationship. It was just meaningless animal sex.
Why shoehorn animal in there?
And then
you're just asking for a fight.
She stops because the minute the words leave her lips,
Right.
she goes, "Oh, that sounded so much better in my head." Like she thought she was paying him a compliment.
Right. It was just, like octopuses. All right, so we're back at Chandler and Eddie's. Chandler and Eddie, and they're finishing their conversation that they started earlier. Chandler is explaining that he did not sleep with Eddie's ex-girlfriend. But Eddie thinks that's exactly what somebody that slept with her would say. And that logic is flawless. He's crazy, but he's very logical. Chandler thinks the whole thing is nuts. It's crazy. She was here for 2 minutes, dropped off the fish tank, and left. End of story.
Where's Buddy?
Buddy! Chandler's like, I can barely hold the thread of the crazy conversation we're already having.
Who the fuck is Buddy?
But Buddy is Eddie's fish. And Chandler says, there was no fish. And Eddie reacts normally, exclaiming that this is unbelievable. Hang on, it's more like, this is unbelievable!
Oh my God, I love that part.
And then he smacks himself in the head. And Eddie explains, first you bang Tilly, then you insult my intelligence by lying about it, then you kill my fish, my buddy. And Chandler needs Eddie to understand that he did not kill his fish, so much so that he walks up to him and places his hand on Eddie's shoulder. And again, we already talked about this is where I noticed Perry's fingertip was missing.
Yep.
And Eddie looks at the hand on his shoulder. And that way the guys do when they're being touched when they don't want to be touched.
Yep.
And Chandler asks, would you look at what I'm doing here? That can't be smart. We're just going to take that guy right off you and put him in Mr. Pocket. And Eddie continues to stare at him, and Chandler offers him a Tangelo. And then he tosses it softly. A soft toss that just bounces off of Eddie's chest and falls to the floor. We came back to the scene. It's still a little tense. And then we cut back out of the scene.
Right. We did not resolve anything.
No. They're still a little tense with each other.
We go back to Monica's bedroom. It's Monica and Richard.
Mm-hmm.
Richard has now heard the number. We don't hear the number.
No.
We don't get to know what the number is. And he's not upset.
No.
So, apparently it's not too bad compared to Richard's 2.
Right. She's like, it's double digits, but a lot more, 2 or 3 at a time.
Oh my God. But now she's mad about the 2. It's a really small number. Don't you have a lot of wild oats to sow? Or is that what you're doing with me? Oh my God, am I an oat?
Joe, am I an oat?
Yes, I'm afraid to tell you, 30 years later, you are an oat.
I don't even like oats.
But Richard said, you're not an oat. He's not an oat guy. He only sleeps with people he's in love with.
Aww.
And then they realize they both love each other and fall into the bed smooching.
Smooch-a-loos. So now we're in Rachel's bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel and Ross. Rachel sits up yelling, "Oh, Ross," at Ross, who is in the corner fidgeting with her crap,
Yeah.
And Rachel pleads with him to listen. What she has with Ross is so much better than what she had with Crap Weasel. Ross cares about her. He's loving, and he makes her laugh.
Yeah, I need to break in. Any relationship out there, good sex never trumps laughter. Remember that? If he can't make you laugh, it's not worth it.
Aw, I don't know how to take that.
You have good sex, too. I'm just saying. If it was just good
Joe!
sex and we didn't laugh,
You're being inappropriate.
I would hate it.
Anyway, the very mature Ross suggests that they invite Paolo over for some animal sex, and he can stand in the corner telling knock-knock jokes.
And this is like so
Now-
immature. It's annoying.
Just because he makes her laugh, is it the knock-knock jokes only that he thinks she laughs at? So Rachel growls and yells, and Ross starts playing with the lamp now. And Rachel tries again, telling him that what they have is special. Paolo was only ever...
Animal sex, animal sex.
Yeah. But Ross wants to understand. There is no animal anything, not even a little animal, not like chipmunk sex. I don't know why you would want to be compared to that, but whatever. Rachel,
They do move kind of fast, you know.
I think they would be done really quick, though. Rachel asks that he try and hear her, and then says, "It was good with Paolo." Oh, boy.
Knock, knock.
Again, she keeps opening herself up to these. It was really, really good. I mean, like, there was, like, one night when it was, like, 27 minutes worth of orgasm. And he's like, "I'm going to shoot myself."
Just stop talking, Rachel. Stop.
But what they have is better. Tenderness, intimacy. They connect. This is the best she has ever had. Until now, Ross threatens.
That is a big promise. What if you don't come through? Pun intended.
You're being horrible this episode.
It's all because of you. You made me snort.
Okay, it's really not a threat. But he pulls her legs out from under her and she flops on the bed and he climbs on her and stuff.
Who's being inappropriate now?
Well, I'm just describing what happened in the show that you like.
Now we go to my least favorite part, Monica and Rachel's bathroom. Monica's digging around and Rachel skids into the bathroom and Monica stands and tells her that Richard just told her he loves her.
Oh.
They rejoice and hug and start looking for the condoms. So Adam knows I bitch about this plot line all the time.
Yeah.
I do not understand it. I don't know why they do not keep their own condoms in their bedrooms. Who in their right mind keeps them in the bathroom so that in the midst of their intimacy, you have to get up and go get a condom? It's a sitcom and it's funny, but still, whiskey, tango, foxtrot.
Right. But again, you have to remember it's a sitcom and they have to...
You wouldn't have the funny robe scene
Right.
at the end. Yes, I get it.
Right.
Anyhow, Rach says she needs one too. She's having sex with her brother.
Ew.
Yuck. Richard comes out and says, And Mom says they are deciding something and shuts the bathroom door. Then the menfolk come out, and Ross is awkward, as always, and asks about his mustache. I want to go back inside!
Go back! He said, go back inside! From Leon.
Yes.
The professional.
And then Richard explains about his mustache comb. And we go back to the girls bargaining for the last condom. Mm-hmm. Just go to Chandler and ask for one. Rachel promises to do her laundry for a month. And she says, no. She'll clean the apartment for 2 months. Mon says, okay, you can have this one right now if you can tell me where the dustpan is.
Yeah.
Now, the girl kid would know, but the boy kid would be like, dustpan? We have one of those?
Yeah, that is true.
Back to the boys. Ross asked him if he was a nom.
Richard looks like, man.
And the girls do Rochambeau for the condom. Rachel wins and opens the door, and Richard and Ross are fighting on whether John Savage was in Deer Hunter and coming home, legs or no legs, and Rachel saunters over and says, honey. And then Ross growls.
So Richard is correct, if anybody's wondering. John Savage was in Deer Hunter. John Voight was paralyzed in the film titled Coming Home.
Right, because John Voight was not in Deer Hunter.
Right. I know this because I never saw Coming Home.
That's right.
And John Savage was in Deer Hunter.
That's right.
So.
And they were both made in 1978, which is why people probably got them confused. So it's like The Prestige with Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale, and The Illusionist with Edward Norton and Paul Giamatti, because people always get those two confused, right. And they both came out in 2006.
Well, my grandmother would actually ask, now The Prestige is the one with Hugh Jackman and Edward Norton. And I'd be like, okay, no.
So Monica shares that they get to have sex tonight and we can do it tomorrow. And Richard says, if I can get the schedule in advance.
And I still think it'd be funnier if he would have went, so mouth stuff?
Oh, I think it would have been funnier if she would have walked in on Eddie and Chandler. Asking for a condom in the midst of their little Tilly argument.
You guys got a condom? And he's like, yeah, there's a whole case in my bedroom. That's Eddie.
Yeah. Chandler would be like, I wouldn't use those if I were you.
I make my own.
Oh.
All right. So Monica and Rachel's, the 5 friends minus a Joey, and the holy sweater vest Batman. Woo! Sweater vest. I'm so excited.
Come back.
It's funny how much they bothered me before, and now I can't wait to see him in a sweater vest.
Like jonesing for a sweater
vest. Yeah. So Chandler is explaining that this morning he found Eddie had stolen all the insoles out of his shoes. Eddie is very Amelie with his vengeance.
Yeah. We should watch that again.
Yeah. Amelie is a very cute French movie.
Yeah, it is.
Monica asks why, and Chandler has to explain that Eddie thinks he slept with his girlfriend and killed his fish. And Phoebe asks Chandler, why would you kill his fish? And Chandler explains, because sometimes, Phoebe, after you sleep with someone, you have to kill a fish.
That's right.
Then Rachel rubs Chandler and says sorry before asking to watch Joey's show now. Monica's concerned that Joey isn't there, but Rachel says, well, he knows what happens. And Chandler's like, well, I'm fine about my problems, by the way. He should remember Rachel's compassion when they're hiding in Monica's room with the copy girl fiasco.
Aww.
I'm going to bed now. Bye. Monica pushes in the VHS. They all taped it to watch together. Wasn't that cute?
That is cute.
Oh, we should start taping Days of Our Lives and watching it.
Is it still on?
You told me it was still on.
Oh, that's right, I did. I don't even know when it's on or where it's on.
But we would need a VHS player to record it.
That's true.
So previously on Days of Our Lives, Dr. Drake Ramoray tells Amber he'll always be there for her as a friend as well as a brother. And Drake is told he's having a lucky day by Dr. Horton as Drake is paged on the intercom to report to the first floor. Drake hits the elevator button and asks if any of the other doctors want to use the elevator with him. And Dr. Horton assures Drake, they only said you.
I love that.
And the elevator doors open, and Amber tells Drake that she loves him. And then he replies with, Yeah, whatever. Writing his own lines again. Nice. But then Drake steps into an empty elevator shaft and plunges to his death. Monica asks if they just killed off Joey. No, Drake. But Ross says no until he hears the 5-second later thud of Drake's body smacking against the concrete floor. And then says, now maybe.
So then we go to Joey's new casa. Joey and all the friends.
Yeah.
Joey's on the couch in his bathrobe and the friends are knocking on the door. Come on, open up.
We want to talk to you.
Joey yells he doesn't feel like talking. And Rach yells, we care about you.
We're worried about you.
And some of us really have to pee.
I do kind of love that Monica has to go to the bathroom really bad.
Yeah. Because he might not have come to the door.
Right.
So he gets up and opens the door. Monica apologizes and runs to the bathroom.
Sorry, Joey.
And Phoebe says she is sorry about his death. That sucks. They came over as soon as they saw. And Ross asks how he could not tell them. And Joey, being Joey, says he was hoping no one would ever find out.
Right.
So Rach offers that maybe they could find a way to bring him back. But Joe says that his brain was so badly damaged that he was the only doctor that could have saved him. It's supposed to be some sort of irony.
Right.
And Phoebe offers that he'll be fine, and it was just a dumb soap opera. But Joe posits that it was the greatest thing that ever happened to him.
Yes! She was going to incorporate that.
And then she goes, oh, good, here comes Monica. She can say something nice. And she offers that she straightened out his non-existing shower curtain to prevent mildew.
Aces.
Now, as a side note, I do this as an adult. And I think it's because of this line.
Oh, the straightening out the curtain?
I do always close the shower curtain after showers and straighten it out because I think of this line.
I do the same thing because I think of this line.
Really?
And I think you'll yell at me if I don't shut it all the way because of this line.
So we got our mildew shower curtain straightening out from Monica.
And by the way, there's mildew on the bottom of your shower curtain. We probably need a new one.
Don't tell the listeners that.
I can cut it out or leave it in to bother you. I don't know.
So Chan assures him it will be okay. But Joey says he doesn't know that it will. He's worked his whole life for this, and it was better than he thought it was going to be, and it changed everything. He said he got a credit card application where he was pre-approved. And he's never been pre-approved for anything in his life. And Rach says she doesn't know if it'll mean anything, but he will always be pre-approved for them. Yeah, no, it doesn't mean anything.
Nope. All right. So then we're back at Chandler and Eddie's. Eddie and Chandler are there. Well, Chandler comes into the apartment, and Eddie is standing right inside the doorway, waiting for him with a tray of cookies. Scaring Chandler. He actually leaps backward. Eddie says, pecan sandy? Just made them.
Yeah, all right.
And Chandler looks at the cookie and asks, what are these, raisins? And Eddie answers with a very passive, sure, why not? And Eddie closes the door and Chandler whips that cookie across the room. So Chandler starts to posit a change to their living situation, but he's distracted by Eddie's maniacal grinning. So Chandler asks, why is he smiling? Eddie has got a surprise. A new fishy. He even named him Chandler, after Chandler. Chandler peers into the aquarium that is now filled with water and has one solitary goldfish cracker. And Chandler points out that it's not a real fish, that it is in fact a goldfish cracker. And Eddie asks, so what's your point, man? Now, here's where I have a question. Why not pour in the whole bag of goldfish crackers? Have a school of goldfish crackers.
You might get mushy in there.
Well, the one's going to get mushy. Chandler says goodnight then and beelines it for his bedroom, calling Eddie a freak of nature under his breath. Monica and Rachel's, Ross and the Richard.
You wrote the Richard.
The Richard. You know what I'm talking about. Ross sticks his head out of Rachel's room, and he is wearing her robe. And finding the coast clear, he waddles into the bathroom for a condom. Ross, why don't you bring a condom with you, my man?
Right?
As Ross digs in the bathroom drawer, Richard leaps from Monica's room wearing her robe. Not the cool, silky looking robe.
Hugh Hefner robe.
Yeah, it's a pink robe. So he looks particularly silly. And he sneaks to the bathroom where they run into each other, both finding the other in the woman's robe. They say hey to each other for a sec, and Richard mentions that it's brisk tonight, and they kind of hop around. And then he suggests that they never speak of this again. Ross agrees, and they go their separate ways. And that's the end of the episode.
Yay, cut and print. All right, we're going to take another break. We'll be right back. I fall down an elevator shaft? What the hell does this mean? I fall down an elevator shaft.
I don't know. I just bring the scripts.
They can't kill me. I'm Francesca's long-lost son.
Right. Could you sign this?
No way. I'm not signing that.
I don't think that's going to affect the plot of the show.
How could they do this to me?
All right. I'm just going to go. Sorry. All right, we're back.
All right, we're back. What did we learn from this episode?
Tell us, Joe, what have you learned?
I learned if I had a roommate, I would keep my own stash of condoms. Case closed.
Yes, you would. I learned that you have to appreciate the good roommates while you have them. I'm looking at you, Joe.
Aww.
And don't eat crazy people's cookies.
Also looking at you, Joe.
Your cookies are fantastic.
Thank you. What are your final thoughts on this episode?
I feel like Monica would have known she only had one condom and just went to Richard's instead of talking him into staying over at her place. I feel like Monica would have known. We're low.
Yeah.
I'm going to save him spending the night for a different time.
Right.
What are your final thoughts?
I know Eddie is nuts, and I know mental illness is not funny, but in this sitcom, it's fucking funny. It makes for good comedy. He steals every scene he's in. Joey learned a valuable lesson. I think all 25 to 30-year-olds learn, maybe except ours.
No.
That you cannot spend money that you don't have. I like the Richard relationship. I think it grounds Monica. I think when he only sleeps with people he loves, I think that means something to her, and I like that.
Yeah. And as far as the mental illness, like, again, I contest Ross is mentally unstable.
The monkey
you
thing,
can't pick and choose.
Right.
You can't.
The monkey thing does put him on that spectrum. All right. Sweater vest tracker.
The prior count was 2.
Yep.
Episode total 1. Yay. We're up to 3.
Woo. All right, we're on episode 18, so we have a couple more to go. We might squeak in. A couple more.
Yeah, you might squeak into your 6.
All right. So what was our IMDb rating for this episode?
Well, the rating for this episode, it was 8.3 out of 10 stars.
Okay.
With 5,500 plus ratings.
Okay. So I picked a really funny review. It's very short, but I read a lot of reviews on this one, cracked me up. So I just kept going back to it. So I'm just going to read it.
Okay.
So, 10 out of 10. The title of it is Yes!
Yes!
With multiple S's. Wrote by Bevo136786, April 2021.
Okay.
This episode is so hilarious. I almost laughed without the laugh track telling me to.
Oh.
That is I laughed so hard I was dying. But most reviews revolved around the uncomfortableness of Ross and Monica both having sex next door to each other.
Right.
Like brother and sister in the apartment together,
right,
knowing that they're both going to bed to have sex with their partners.
Right. Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah.
And we didn't touch on it throughout the
right.
Yeah.
Because I mean we got weird enough without breaking it up. But yeah, it's one of those things that again, both the guys have their own apartment.
Yeah.
So they could have
I know.
broken off.
I don't know why Ross is always over there. Why don't they go to his apartment?
Again, it's for economy for the TV show.
Yep, they don't have to build a set.
But then it makes everybody think 30 years later, why do they want to have sex so bad on the night that their brother and sister are knowingly having sex next to them? It just makes for a weird storyline.
All right, what's next week's episode?
The one where Eddie won't go.
Yes, I love this one.
A financially strapped Joey is pressured by Ross to audition for a role he doesn't want.
Mm-hmm.
The girls get all windy after reading a feminist manifesto. And Chandler has a little trouble with Eddie.
Just a little.
Just a little bit.
All right, are you ready for some maladjusted content?
I am.
How was your week?
It was good. You made me think of something that we watched. We watched a couple of those on YouTube videos. Mm-hmm. That's scenes of Ross without the laugh track.
Yeah, if you haven't watched those, they're hilarious.
Like there's one where he's with his cousin Cassie,
yes.
Denise Richards, on the couch.
Yes.
And he's just silent.
Yes.
For minutes.
So, no voiceover.
They cut out the voiceover.
No laugh track.
And it's so weird.
It's just his facial expressions. And her facial expressions.
Yeah.
And it is creepy as hell. And then the one where the Unagi one, where he goes to the self-defense class.
Yeah.
He's talking to the self-defense instructor.
He's like, maybe we should attack them together.
Yeah, and there's no laugh track. Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
He sounds like a crazy person.
He does. It's like we're watching Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
It's creepy. So you did some yard work. I did not do any yard work.
Yeah.
I was at work. That's my defense. I'm sticking to it.
That's my defense. My defense mechanism is I'm at work.
I'm at work. You do the yard work. I was at work. What else did we do this week?
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere with that.
Oh, I wasn't.
You made me watch St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah. So I'm on this Facebook website group with other podcasters to share things.
Right.
And I met this other podcast group, this podcaster.
What's the name of their podcast?
Their podcast is called Carrie Never Saw That, with a K.
Okay.
Kerry. Carrie Never Saw That.
Okay.
And they're a Gen X podcaster group.
Okay.
Husband and wife. About the same age as us because we're Gen Xers. And his wife grew up in a very rural area who didn't have cable television.
Oh.
And so she never got to see all the movies that we, or you, because I didn't either, watched over and over and over again on HBO and cable.
Right.
And so, she had never seen Aliens.
Oh.
She never saw Alien.
Right.
She never saw Terminator.
Wow.
She never saw Better Off Dead.
Right.
She never saw The Princess Bride.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
All right, stop plugging theirs. Get to the point.
So she.
Bring it back in.
Carrie and her husband, Captain Honeybeard, and they watch the movie and then they talk about it and they're elevated. That's their word for taking a gummy.
Okay.
And they talk about it. And so I was listening to it and they watched St. Elmo's Fire. And I remember watching it, but I don't remember how crazy fucked up this movie was.
Right.
And so having listened to it, I was like, whoa.
And I had never seen St. Elmo's Fire.
Nope.
Because the Brat Pack were just a little older than us.
Yes.
I caught The Breakfast Club a little bit later.
Right. Which is an amazing movie.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
But I had never seen St. Elmo's Fire.
Right.
Something about Rob Lowe's look always made me kind of go, I don't know.
So you thought he was a sleazy person.
Right.
And then we watched the movie.
And he was a
sleazy person.
They were all fucking nuts.
They were horrible. So I just wanted to plug their podcast called Carrie Never Saw That. They're really funny. And they're good people. So if you get a chance, check them out.
Yeah.
So we watched that, and then we watched Volcano.
Yeah, we just randomly picked Volcano one night. It was on one of the streaming things. And I was like, I haven't seen this in a while.
It was really weird. It was like, is that a set? Yes, that's a set.
Yeah, everything's a set in this movie about downtown Los Angeles.
The La Brea Tar Pits was so funny looking. It was really weird. But yeah, that was funny.
And I told you when we were watching it, like I was expecting it to be sillier.
Yeah.
Like a volcano movie set in Los Angeles
Yeah.
is an absurd idea.
Right. And then at the very end, there's this shot of Los
LA
Angeles
with a volcano.
Big volcano in the middle of it. It was like, seriously, people, come on.
It's like, oh man.
That was really funny. So.
But I mean, it was fun. It was Tommy Lee Jones and Don Cheadle and
yeah, and poor Anne Heche. Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah,
it was sad. But yeah, it was pretty funny. And so now we're gonna watch Amelie because you wrote it down and we talked about it. So
yeah, I mentioned Amelie, so we'll watch Amelie sometime this week.
That sounds good. And
I
then,
haven't seen that in a while.
We were gonna watch Men in Black 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And so he sent me up here because our DVDs are in his office, and he sent me up here to find it, and I couldn't find it. So I came back downstairs and I said, I can't find it. Ask the boy kid. And he was like, no, maybe we just don't have it.
What threw me off was I went to just buy it on Fandango or whatever, and it wasn't available. I was like, what the hell? And then I found out the next week after we bought it on Blu-ray that it was typed it in different.
Oh.
The whole trilogy pack would come up.
Oh my God. Cheaper than what we bought it for?
I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't care.
So anyhow, we bought it and it came, and then the boy kid goes, oh, I have this. It's up in my room.
Yeah.
So we're like, son of a...
So it sat on the counter for...
like 2 weeks.
For a few days.
All right. And then we went to watch it.
And then we went to watch it and we couldn't find it again.
And so we asked the boy kid, and he goes, oh, I put it in your office.
I put it in alphabetical order up in their thing.
And you can't even put away your laundry, but the movie we've been waiting to watch, you filed it away alphabetically?
And now I don't even want to watch it.
I'm not going to watch it now.
All right.
All right, let's wrap this up. Thank you guys for listening. If you would like your thoughts or reactions regarding future episodes to be shared with the rest of the class, or if you just want to reach out and say hey.
Come on, we want to hear from more of you misfits out there. Come on, we want to hear misfits.
Email us at themaladjustedmisfits@gmail.com. Rate us and leave positive comments.
And if you have a negative comment, why don't you leave it in a positive way?
Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. You can follow the links in the show notes. The pages are called The One Where We Talk About Friends.
Joe, you ready for a cup of coffee?
Always. If this woman doesn't get to a hospital, she's not going to live.